Hello everyone, we are in a new unit, and this unit is called Functions and Their Graphs. So let's go ahead and look at the standards for this unit. So the standard one, function basics, like what's a function and how do you find f of 2? And that's what we're going to talk about today. Standard 2 would be library of functions, so like important functions like sine x, cosine x, tan x. Standard 3 will be about manipulating functions, so finding f plus g of x, subtracting functions, composing functions, dividing functions, and we'll also talk about domain in that topic. We'll discuss what an inverse function is and how to find it, and then we're going to rationalize functions, and then we're going to talk about property of functions. We'll find intercepts, and we'll deal with probably the cost function. We'll do that, and I'm not sure if we'll do this particular math model. All right, let's get started. This one's called Standard 1, Basic Functions. So what is a function? Well, a function is where every input goes to exactly one output. So for example, if I put in a 3, I will get out a 7. If I put in a 4, I get out a 9. If I put in a 10, I get out a 21. And you might see that I've been doubling it and then adding 1. So a function is basically taking an input, doing some sort of calculation, and spitting out an output. So for example, in this particular case right here, if I had that input going to that and to that, that would be not a function. We call that not a one-to-one. If you had an input go to, say, the number 7, and then another input, a different input go to number 7, that's actually okay. You can have many things go to 1, but you can't have one thing go to many. And let's just keep that in mind. That's a little abstract as we move forward, okay? So for example, if I have 3 go to 6, 4 go to 7, 5 go to 10, 3 go to 11, and 4 go to 12. Is that a function? Well, the answer is no, because remember, our definition was that every input goes to exactly one output, and that's not what we're experiencing here. Here, this 3 goes to 6, and that should be it for 3. But here, 3 goes to 11, and that's not allowed if you're a function. So this would be no. There's also an issue with the 4. The 4 goes to 12, and the 4 goes to 7. That's a problem. All right, is this a function? 2 goes to 3, 4 goes to 3, 5 goes to 3. This is a yes. That is okay to have, as long as you've got 2 going to only one number, and 4 goes to only one number, and 5 goes to only one number. This is a perfect example of this situation where many things go to 1. All right, how about this? If I have a 1, 4, 2, 4, 5, 6, and 3, 7. This would be a yes, because there's no other 1 that goes to a number. This 2 is the only 2, and it goes to 4. This 5 is the only 5, it goes to 6, and this 3 goes to 7. It is okay that the 4 repeats, because that's like this, where everything is going to 3. Now, just a reminder, we've talked about this before. We've talked about something called the vertical line test. And if I have something drawn like this, and I'm trying to figure out, is this a function or not? What I do is I draw a vertical line, and if it hits more than once, which it does here, this would be not a function. So this would be a no. All right, real quickly, I'm going to give you 4 problems to try on your own. Try them, and then we'll come right back. Go ahead and pause the video now and try these 4 problems. All right, hopefully you're back, and you should have gotten a yes for this one, because there's no repeats in the x's that go to multiple answers. This one's a big fat no, and the issue is because the 1 goes to 2 different numbers. This one here would also be a no. The issue is that 1 goes to 5 and 1 goes to 8. And this last one here is a yes, and the reason why is there's no place where I can draw a vertical line and it hits more than one place on that graph. All right, now I want to talk about writing something in function notation. So this right here represents my x values, and this represents my y values. And remember, we can talk about y as f of x. So if I have a problem that asks you what f of r is, this question is essentially saying when I take r and I plug it into my function machine, just like the very beginning here, we can call this guy Frankie, f. If I take my value and I plug it into Frankie, what's going to be my output? So I'm putting r into my function named Frankie. What does he spit out? Well, he spits out a 4. See how r goes to 4? Then we'd have f of h go to 2, f of o go to 1, and f of q go to 5. So these are all my x values right here, and you can think of these as your f of x or your y values. Okay, let's write these in function notation. So remember, this is your x and this is your y, and y can be written as f of x. So we're saying that f of 2 is equal to 3, f of 3 is equal to 4. See how f of 3 is equal to 4. F of 5 equals 1, f of 6 equals 2, and f of 2 equals 4. That's it. We could do the same thing here, but I feel like you're getting the hang of it. Here we have f of negative 2 equals 5, f of negative 1 equals 5, f of 0 equals 5, etc. How about writing this in function notation? Well, this is a little trickier. You might want to just identify what some of these coordinates are, and then it's not too bad. So here I've got the coordinate, I guess you've got, tough to see here, but you've got your something like that. I'm kind of confused. I figured it out. There's where my origin is, right here at 0, 0. So this right here is the coordinate 0, 0. Okay, this is the coordinate 1, 1. That looks like here we've got 4, 2. Here we've got 1, negative 1, and here we have a 4, negative 2. So we would say on this problem that f of 0 equals 0, f of 1 equals 1, f of 4 equals 2, f of 1 equals negative 1, and f of 4 equals negative 2. And you should have said in your brain, wait a second, this is not a function. And that's true because of this situation right here. We're putting 1 into our function monster, but we just got 2 different numbers out. That's not allowed for a function. And same thing here, if I'm talking about plugging in a 4, sometimes you get a 2, sometimes you get a -2. Not allowed as a function. So this is not a function. Well, that's it for Standard 1. Thanks for watching.